takes a moment. But my name is Lily Arguello. I am the Director of Membership at PIHRA, and you are going to join me and my team here for the next 60 minutes for the PIHRA orientation. A little bit of housekeeping. I ask that you all stay muted. We will have some time throughout the webinar for you to unmute and ask questions, and we can interact in a certain way, but I do want to honor our time, and I do have a lot to cover uh, in these 60 minutes. Following the webinar, either my partner, Elisette Sapyan, or myself will email you these slides with some URLs and links based on your questions today, and just to provide you more information that you can review in your own time. So you will get these slides, but feel free to take notes on things that may not be on the slides or answers to questions that we've provided. Thank you, everybody. Oh, I see we have Palm Desert, we have Pasadena. I'm near downtown LA in what's it called? Southeast LA. And great San Dimas. Anthony, hi. I saw you last night, I believe. Playa del Rey is represented. So thank you all for joining. And Sherman Oaks. Wonderful. So let's get into it. What are we covering today? You may be asking, what is this orientation all about? Well, we're in the welcome portion of it, and give you just a general update of what PIHRA has going on in general. Then I want to make sure that you walk away from this webinar with the information you need to make a decision whether you want to become a PIHRA member, or if you're interested in HR certification, for example, that you feel like you have the information to take your next step. So there's a lot of information I have, but I want to hear from you. Are you interested in conferences? Are you interested in building your network, in what sort of career development resources that we have? So we're going to give you a poll, and I'm going to do my best to focus on the things that you as attendees of today's webinar want to walk away with. Then I'm going to introduce you to the PIHRA membership team and our special guest. I'm so happy that Rafael Rivera, our CEO, is with us. So he'll talk a little bit and introduce himself. And then I will go through an overview of the association, who we are, our key players, member benefits, and then some of the fantastic learning and networking resources that PIHRA offers. And then I'll just wrap it up and ask questions. I keep this pretty informal. So if you want to ask a question, feel free to make a note in the chat. We'll be monitoring the chat. Also, feel free to start networking now. I see a lot of you, or I've provided my LinkedIn URL, so please connect there. Feel free as well to put your URL in there so that Elisette and I and other people on the webinar can connect with you. And if you want to unmute, this is a pretty small group, so you could raise your hand, or just let us know you want to ask a question and unmute. Or if the conversations gets exciting, just unmute and add to the conversation. All right, let's get started here with a general update. So I started providing a general update in 2020 when a lot of things changed. So I just decided to continue with this. But what the pandemic did for us is it made us go virtual. So pre-pandemic, we were having webinars once a month, not as consistently as today. We have up to 3 webinars per month for members, and they're free for members, and very nominal costs to non-members. Sometimes we have webinars that are free for everybody. These webinars are either hosted by PIHRA staff, and I'll share a little bit more about that. So I'm on staff, but they're also provided by our chapters, and we'll talk a lot more about our chapters in a moment. So we're always adding events. So we have a lot of webinars coming on, but also many of our chapters are meeting in person. And 2024, I think it's going to be a fantastic year because still in 2023, we're looking for venues that were affordable. We were, regrouping our leadership teams, we're regrouping. And so I think you're going to find that there's a lot more in-person meetings happening and they're more consistent. So if you are tired of webinars and Zoom meetings, not a problem. There's a lot of in-person meetings coming up. And I'm going to share a slide toward the end with all the upcoming meetings. So definitely want you to think about PIHRA as your organization to go network with, or to increase your HR skills with, or even um, build your leadership skills with, because we have volunteer opportunities as well. All right. Let me see if I have to click this slide again. Here we go. So, like I said, I want to make sure that I touch the topics that you want to walk away with. So I'm going to have Elisette launch our poll. There's like 7 of us who are non-staff, so it would be great to have all 7 of you respond to this question. What is the information you're interested in receiving during this webinar? And if it's other, just put it in the chat and I'll do my best to address it. If I cannot answer all the questions that you have today, I will do some research and follow up with you in the next week. Sometimes there's people who have questions that are very unique to them. I may ask to set up an individual conversation with you, and I'd be delighted to do that. All right, we have a tie going for PIHRA monthly meetings. HR certification, great. Seminars, anything else I'm missing? Other and seminars. Okay, I think we have one person missing maybe from the, I'll give it another 15 seconds. How's that? Great. Thank you so much for participating. If you want to end the poll, Elisette, and share the results. Great. So 33% of you want to know more about our PIHRA monthly meetings. The other 33% HR certification. Then we have someone interested in seminars and conferences. That's great because Raphael can talk to you about that. And then other. So I'll stop sharing that. And if there is something else, just put it in the chat for now, and we could definitely have a conversation about that. Okay, Anthony, got it. That's a great question, and I'll get to that question as we go through this. If there's something that you're interested in terms of benefits or the chapters or the professional development or the tools that we have, just let us know because everything here, if you are able to participate in all of the things that I talk about today with respect to the PIHRA membership and the association as a whole, then you'll be getting the most out of the membership, in my opinion. So let me introduce myself a little bit more and the membership team. So I'm here in the middle. I have an MBA and a SHRM SCP. I passed my HR certification at the beginning of 2021. It feels like it was just yesterday, but it was at the beginning of 2021. I'm already up for recertification. So I'm always happy to talk about HR certification. And I think Rafael Rivera has a couple of certifications. So we can answer your questions. We do have a slide about that. I joined PIHRA. I actually got this job because Rafael, you might remember, he found me on LinkedIn and we were connected through another colleague. So that is a big plug for having your LinkedIn profile up to date, polished, include your resume, or at least include your key achievements in terms of your career. I have a background in organizational development and planning. I decided to leave consulting because it was more in the consulting field and I went into the nonprofit area and I was recruited to PIHRA from the Girl Scouts of Greater LA, where I was a membership manager promoting the largest leadership program in the world for women in the inner cities of Southern California. So those communities were mostly lower income and Spanish speaking. So I believe this is a great marriage of my experience as an organizational development consultant and working in the nonprofit field, particularly in membership building through partnerships and things like that sort with the Girl Scouts of Greater LA. Now I'd love to ask Elisette Sapian, who is here with us, to introduce herself.
Thank you, Lily. Hi, everyone. And again, welcome to our orientation. We're excited to kick off the year. This is our first orientation of the year, so I'm happy that you're here. My name is Elisette, like I mentioned, and I'm the membership coordinator. I just hit my 7-year mark a few months ago, late last year. So I have a background in journalism and public relations, and I'm happy to serve our membership community of HR professionals and stakeholders. Like Lily mentioned, also we're going to be interacting via the chat box, but so I'm going to be monitoring that. Feel free to type in your questions, and it's a small group, so I'm sure we can unmute and interact more that way. So I'm excited that you're here, and I'll pass it back to Lily.
Thank you, Elisette. Elisette is my right hand, and she's the first person you're going to speak to. So me and my team, we're committed to responding to member inquiries at, as soon as possible. But my commitment to you is that we respond within 24 hours in a working week. So whether you call us or you email us, by the way, email is probably the best in terms of getting a hold of me. My promise to you is that we'll get back to you. I please don't hesitate from calling or emailing us, because there's times where maybe Anthony's like, well, how do I want to get the most out of my membership, but how do I get to Mineral or the Pirate Workplace? I'm having challenges. Just email us right away. We'll get back to you as soon as possible, but definitely within 24 hours. We're your resource for you, and we want to make sure that you get the member benefits that you need so that you continue to be a part of our community. Also want to introduce you here to Matt Pallett. He is my liaison with the PIHRA board. So we are primarily volunteer-led. However, we do have a staff. So right now, I think there's 9 staff people, including a contractor who is our CFO. And we have a board that governs the entire association, and we have boards at the chapter level, and I'll get into that in a moment. But Matt is the chair of the membership committee. You will see him at our conferences, at a lot of our seminars, and sometimes he's at the PIHRA South OC meetings. So if anyone's here interested in going to chapter meetings in Orange County, you may see Matt. Feel free to reach out to him as well. He wants to make sure that you are getting the most out of your membership and that you're getting the professional development that you need. So we're all very accessible, and don't hesitate to reach out to us. Now, I'm really excited to introduce Rafael Rivera. He's here with us now. He is the person who brought me into PIHRA, actually, and I really credit him for all the evolution of PIHRA to the 21st century. So, Rafael, please introduce yourself. Say hi.
Well, good afternoon. Can you hear me? I want to make sure that everyone can hear me today.
Yes, we can hear you.
I am on the road today, but happy to tune in. One of the things that Lily mentioned that sometimes we overlook, a lot of our members in the HR community, they don't know that PIHRA has staff. So we do have 9 team members, and we're available to serve you. 5 of them are scattered around our service area. So you may have an opportunity to see us more often. I got to meet Anthony last night at the Fun an informative event in collaboration with PIHRA South OC, which happens to be my primary chapter. We were having that event in an art gallery, and we love being in a unique environment that allows us to learn and gain new perspective. So I think Lily wanted for me to share that we have some upcoming programs. In May, we're going to be in Anaheim at the Hilton Anaheim for our annual conference. I invite you to go. So if you have a budget for professional development, we'll cover about 13 tracks, anything from leadership to culture, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and talent management. Things are still changing where besides our California employment laws that those change all the time. We need an opportunity to stay up to date with how to do things with the best practices, and also an opportunity to connect in person. I am so excited. We kicked off the year last Saturday with our Volunteer Leader Summit. We had 80 plus volunteer leaders from Southern California join us. And we're seeing finally that post COVID, volunteers and members are coming back in person. I know that we're all still very busy trying to figure out how to, whether it's return to office or start the year implementing the new employment laws, but meeting, connecting face to face, there's no substitute for that. So do make the time to get out and visit your local chapter, or make it to one of our annual events. If you can't make it to the conference, then of course our California employment law update is a must attend event so that you can be ready to begin the year. We have one starting at the here in January. It's going to be in Riverside for those that may need to catch up to the laws that were implemented January 1st, became effective January 1st. And then after the legislative calendar, we have employment law events. It's going to be in 2 locations, LA and Orange County. Those dates are going to be soon to be announced. Probably we're going to go back to Burbank, Glendale. And then maybe somewhere down in South OC, ideally Irvine. Again, I'm a little bit, partial because I'm in South OC, so got to move some of our programming around. But I invite you to connect with me. I'll share my LinkedIn, and I know that I've already connected with those that share their LinkedIn in the chat. And you can see me at PIHRA South OC, but I will be traveling to every single chapter this year, and we have 18 professional chapters. And you more than likely will see Lily at West LA. She will make it to other chapters, but West LA is her favorite. If there's anyone in West LA on this call, then that's her #1 chapter.
Okay. There's my boss giving me a hard time, but I do like West LA's events, and thank you,
West
Rafael.
Side.
Born, not born, but raised, you know, but we can get into that in a little bit. I'm going out to Santa Clarita this year, and I'm always love to go to Burbank, Glendale, which is the fun chapter, and we'll get into that. But Rafael, thanks for joining. I hope you could stay with us because you might, something that I say might prompt you to comment on something that I've missed. So I'm really excited to have Rafael. Now, isn't that weird? We're a great team, and I really want to credit Rafael for building a fantastic PIHRA team. The pandemic wasn't easy. We had some of our longest time employees leave. You all know about turnover. That can be a challenge. But here we are in 2024. We have a new team, and we're norming and performing. I think we got through the storming part. So I really credit Rafael, and I usually say this even when you're not in the room, Rafael, just so you know, that I credit Rafael for helping build a fantastic association. He's helped us rebrand our two main conferences. So our conference used to be called the PIHRA Annual Conference, and I think it was 2014, 2015. Raphael led the charge of rebranding that to the California HR Conference. He also, a couple years later, he rebranded the PIHRA, what is it, Employment Law Update? I forget what it's called now. And now it's the California Employment Law Update, but it was a PIHRA Legal Update, right?
It's our reach is so expansive. We have people coming from Northern California, outside of California. Pre-COVID, we would have people come from all over the world. I think our biggest delegation was Nigeria. And we're like, how did you guys find out about us? But certainly doing good things for the HR community.
Yep. So here's our mission. We exist to engage, elevate, and serve the California HR community with innovative programming, professional development, and high impact networking opportunities. Most of you had questions about the chapters and HR certification, but I see there's other questions that have come in. So I will address those as we move forward. Told you we're going to talk a little bit about some key players and that we are primarily volunteer led, even though we have one of the largest staffs of any SHRM affiliate. By the way, we are the largest SHRM affiliate in the United States, and we were established 80 years ago this year. It's our 80th anniversary, so it's an exciting year. Back in 1944, a group of personnel managers came together and said, what is the future of this profession? What degrees do we need? Do we need certification? How do we move forward as being a key player in organizations? And so they met in downtown LA. If some of you are coming back to the PIHRA membership after being gone for a while, you may remember that our chapters were called districts. So District 1 was our PIHRA Los Angeles group who meets out of downtown. And so fast forward to 2024, we have an association-wide board. It's a great way to build your leadership skills. And Tara Fournier here is the president of our board this year. And she has a background working with SHRM. If I recall correctly, she worked with building their student chapters and their student membership offering. And she's currently the Chief People Officer for Enthusiast Gaming. She's working out of Culver City, even though she is out of Orange County. So you may see her at a PIHRA West LA event as well. They are fun. And I'll talk a little bit about this. Each of our chapters has its own culture. And if you have any questions about our chapters, you'll see them all on a map in a moment. I'd be happy to share my perspective, but I do encourage you to attend any chapter meeting that you're interested in, because so you could see for yourself. And then you've already met Raphael again. I love my job. I love working with Raphael, and I'm really excited about 2024. So thank you again, Raphael, for being here. A little bit about who are PIHRA members. So right around 43% of our members are at the generalist manager level, and 28% are at the HR director level and above. Also, I'd like to point out that right around 9% of our members are what I call service providers. So those are the natural partners to HR. Your insurance brokers, your staffing folks, wellness professionals, 401k folks, financial advisors. So I like to work with them really closely. It's their job to connect with HR and their job to know what HR's pain points are. A lot of our service providers are here to build relationships. They're not they shouldn't be, at least have an aggressive sales stance unless they're sponsoring an event. So don't shy away from them. A lot of the times our HR service providers, they're the first to know when there's an open HR position. So as an example, I went to a PIHRA Long Beach. See, I do go to other meetings, Raphael. I went to a PIHRA Long Beach meeting, and one of our service providers said, hey, if anyone's interested in an HR director job, I know one that's open in the downtown LA area. Any questions about our membership before I move forward? All right. I see that we answered Marcela's, who is going to transfer her registration for next week. That's great. No problem. Okay, I'm going to move forward because no questions. Okay. So a couple of you had questions about the PIHRA chapters. We have 18 chapters throughout Southern California. So although we do have members outside of that footprint, they mostly participate in the conferences that happen once a year and all of our virtual learning opportunities. And we also have some online tools that they could participate in. So our largest chapter, just to give a quick overview, is South OC. Pre-pandemic, they had over 700 members. So if you were to attend one of their monthly meetings, you could meet like 100 people at those events. We're back on track to growing our meetings in that way. But yesterday we had around 50 people attend the South OC PIHRA event. Our second largest chapter is PIHRA Los Angeles. They meet out of downtown LA. And our third largest chapter is PIHRA North OC. They are a thriving chapter. They meet out of Anaheim Hills. I forget their exact location, but they also have a lot of fun socials at the Foundation Room in downtown Disney's. Is it the House of Blues? Yeah, the House of Blues. So did anyone have specific questions about the monthly meetings that I can answer at this point? Hi, Marcella. You could unmute if you like.
Yeah. So, yeah, I understand I would be part of the Inland Valley one, and I was looking to see when they were having their next one. But they are still meeting, I think, on the second Tuesday, or I'm not sure.
Yes, no. So after the pandemic, our chapters, are still they're still regrouping. So they have changed the consistency of their meetings. I do not see anything on the calendar yet for PIHRA Inland Valley. I apologize for that. But some of our chapters are meeting every other month. Some of our chapters are meeting monthly. I unfortunately I don't know when they're meeting next, but we do have two chapters that are close by. We have PIHRA Pasadena, and I didn't see anything on the calendar for January yet or beginning of February. And we also have PIHRA Riverside.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think they're just getting started in planning their year. But check the PIHRA calendar often. Before we leave, I'm going to share a list of upcoming events with you. I know Burbank Glendale has something coming up next week, but they are still, a chapter, but they meet, I think, either once a quarter or once every other month right now.
All right.
And I think they just got their old venue back, if I heard correctly last week. They're back at the Pomona Mining Company. They were having meetings at the headquarters of Sumitomo Tires in Rancho Cucamonga. So they just had some challenges finding a venue that made sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. But as a PIHRA member, this is a good point. You can attend any chapter meeting at the member price. I just suggest registering for it in advance and not just going the day of and registering on site because I can ensure that you'll get the member rate if you do that. But if you register in advance, you can get the member rate. Any other questions about our chapter meetings?
We have another question in the chat about Coachella Valley. They
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
anything in the calendar yet, right?
I think they just had a meeting.
Yeah, I think they had a meeting this week.
Yep.
I saw some posts up on LinkedIn.
Yes, Nick, thank you for asking. Yes, our PIHRA Coachella Valley, I just saw their membership chair on Saturday, and she wants to take the desert by storm for HR professionals. They are very consistent with their meetings. I don't remember seeing their meeting on my list, but they probably have a meeting at the end of February. And at least you didn't see anything for February? Okay, they're probably just getting it on the calendar, but they're very consistent. They're a great group. I hope you join them. They meet out of Palm Desert, out of a country club in Palm Desert. Have you been before?
I have. I've been over 7 times already at the Woodhaven. I just wanted to,
Yes.
this is my eighth time coming, and I actually want to join this time. I actually want to become a member and attend meetings and anything I can do to be a help here in the desert.
Oh, they would love to have you join their board. So, um, after this webinar, we will send you instructions on how to join if you need those. I even have a promo code for $15. Don't tell Rafael off, in case you have some financial constraints. I like to make it as accessible as possible, and then I'd be delighted to introduce you to the chair and the membership chair. They're very eager to build their team there.
It'd be a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. All right. Well, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. On top of our 18 chapters, we have three, I think it's three, might be more, three specialty groups. One is the PIHRA Foundation. Their mission is to support workforce readiness in Southern California, and they do programs with high schools and junior colleges like you and your first job. And they also have and host HR scholarships. Their scholarship windows are in spring and fall, winter. Their deadline was just in December, so I reached out today, as a matter of fact, to find out who the award recipients are. But you do not have to be a PIHRA member to apply for the scholarships. Sometimes they don't get enough applicants. So feel free to think about this for yourself. If you are getting your degree in HR or you're pursuing your HR certification, watch out for the next scholarship window, which will probably be in March, would be a deadline, but I haven't received that information yet. But they also have their own board. So if you're interested in being introduced to the PIHRA Foundation, I'm sure they'd be open to speaking to you about any openings that they have. We also have the government advocacy team. This team is near to my heart. One, because the chair of the government advocacy team, I've known her since I think I was 22 when I met Dana. And she is just so passionate about employment law. She consults in employment law. I consider her one of the HR professionals that are a specialist in employment law and pretty close to an attorney, but not an attorney. Um, she does a lot of work with Cal SHRM in advocating for employers and employees on Capitol Hill in Sacramento. And just yesterday, she hosted what she calls a government advocacy team chat, and she had an elected there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go, and I don't remember who the elected was, but this is a great group to be a part of, especially if you're interested in working with electeds and advocating for either your company has some issues around some decisions that are made politically and or your employees. So this is a great group to belong to. We also, I'm not going to talk too much about it. We have a emerging leaders group. They have their own board and they're looking for some leadership in that board. Another group we have is college relations. I'm working with that group to build out our PIHRA student chapters and really engaging students in a different way. We've started some mentoring programs, and that's really the future of HR. So anyone's interested in that, let us know, and we can connect you with those teams. All right, so no one asked too much about the benefits, but Anthony, I know you said you want to make the most out of this, and I think attending the monthly events, and you have to kind of decide for yourself, what do I want to specialize my HR knowledge base in? So do you want to do employment law? For me, employment law, it's so important for your organization to be compliant, but me and my business law class we didn't connect very well, but that might be an area you want to focus in on. So that's a great place to start thinking about, where do I want to focus on HR strategy? Do I want to focus on employee relations or investigations? And so once you make that decision, then go to our calendar often, because our chapters are hosting all kinds of different meetings. Some of you may be interested in talent acquisition and development, so there's meetings there. The other thing is building your network. For me, this is where you're going to meet and have access to the largest HR community in any SHRM or HR association community. We are the largest SHRM chapter. I already said that. And so we have our chapters that are on the ground floor and they're bringing HR professionals to them. So if you want to build your network in HR, this is a place to do it. Um, Also want to talk about we have what we call the PIHRA Workplace, and it is an award-winning compliance center with a lot of tools that you want to get familiar with. So I'm going to go to the next page, but if you have any questions about this, let me know. So the PIHRA Workplace is powered by Mineral. If any of you remember Think HR, Mineral used to be Think HR, and they might be changing names in the near future as well. But they have a compliance center that you get for free. It includes a job description builder, an employee handbook builder, hundreds of sample policies. They have legal summaries by state of all 50 states. So if you're an employment law nerd, not that you would be a nerd, I think you'd be brilliant if you love this. Go there. There's all kinds of things that you can use. There's webinars there as well. You also have access to what I call PIHRA Live. It's basically an HR hotline. If you call this number, you give them your name, maybe your company name, and they will answer any HR question that you have. And a lot of the times follow up with an email with any documentation that would be helpful. Now, remember, these are senior HR certified folks. They're not attorneys. So if you do have a legal issue, I always suggest that you speak to corporate counsel or that you speak to an attorney. And if you go to the California Employment Law Update in Riverside, you're going to meet some attorneys. So that'll be good. This is a fantastic benefit, PIHRA Learn. So you have access to the core courses in PIHRA Learn for free. Well, PIHRA Live, if you would purchase it alone, it's probably $1,200 a year. PIHRA Learn, so PIHRA, if I made a mistake, it's PIHRA Live would cost you $1,200. That's the HR hotline. PIHRA Learn, that's up to $10,000 if you were to purchase it on your own. It includes over 250 core courses, all the mandatory courses like the sexual harassment courses for managers and some safety OSHA courses. You do have to upgrade to those, but you could create learning tracks for your employees around customer service, around aggressional behavior. There's a lot of different topics. And if you want to learn more about that, we could send you the core courses. But that is a huge benefit that you get for free with your membership. If you have any questions, let me know. If you are a team of 2 or more, I would suggest that you consider an HR team membership. We have HR team memberships from 2 people teams up to like 40 people teams. So if you have a large HR department and you want to make sure that they're getting the professional development and networking externally, maybe this is for you. If you're interested in this, let me know. There are some additional benefits besides the main membership benefits that are associated. So you do get a discount on the memberships. You do get a discount on any virtual conferences that we host association-wide. And then you get a concierge type of customer service with me and Elisette helping you register your entire team to the conferences. And we will be following up with you on a quarterly basis to make sure that you are tracking your team's professional development and that they're getting the professional development that they need, because that's really important. I think that HR that cares about everybody else's professional development in the organization, but we really need to make sure that our HR teams know what's coming, know the trends that are coming up, any employment law exposures that are there, and just get a reminder of, how to execute on your organization strategy through your HR strategy. So let me know if you're interested in the HR teams. Rafael, did you have any comments or about HR teams or anything we've talked about yet?
It's like you got to do it if you have a team, and for the team lead, the value proposition is not only to register your team, but make sure that they're using the resources. Have those check-ins. Make your teammates share what's working or not utilizing our platforms, because it's a fantastic resource that uh, companies can save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars by having, making the team just more effective and helping with their own professional development.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you're going to want to make sure your team knows how to deal with difficult employees, because that happens. How to deal with, um, with the FSLA audits, and this is where they're going to get that know-how or meet the people that they can have on their speed dial to ask for advice, because sometimes in HR. There's a lot going on, and you do not want to do HR alone. Because it can get kind of lonely, and sometimes you need external um, subject matter experts from your internal team just to kind of check on things and see what other people's experience have been. So thank you. We do have some online resources. I'll be honest, I'm not quite sure how long this is going to be in place. PIHRA Connect is a Facebook type of community for our HR practitioners and stakeholders. So utilize it now. You could even start a poll there to ask, like, hey, anyone want to share what PEO company you're working with, or anyone have advice on um, how to recruit XYZ type of person. So this is a great resource as well. Volunteering, volunteer. This is our best kept secret. I feel like I got my job because I was a volunteer leader at another organization. I think Rafael can also talk a little bit about how volunteering has impacted his career. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but there's so many different ways to volunteer with PIHRA. You can volunteer at the chapter level, just at one event, greeting people as they come in. You could volunteer at the conference level, which is a 1 day commitment, and then you get to go to the rest of the conference and enjoy the learning and networking opportunities. You can, continue to build your leadership skills by being on the board and having a very formal um, position. So if you're interested in that, you could either go to this URL or drop me an email, because I'd be happy to introduce you to a chapter leader, and they could tell you, I don't have a visibility on all the volunteer opportunities that are 18 chapters, but I could definitely introduce you to people who can connect you with that. Rafael, do you want to talk a little bit about volunteering? Any
I was
words of
also going to
advice?
say that we can make the connections. We do have a wonderful chair that Lauren Sweeney that leads our volunteer engagement committee. So we can introduce you directly to the chapter chair or volunteer engagement. And if you just want to maybe just dip your toes, we're happy to just have a conversation about what each role might entail, our understanding before we, take it to the next step and introduce you locally.
Great, thank you. Okay, we're going to get to the certification piece soon. So we've talked a little bit about the different types of HR education and the channels we have. We have conferences, chapter meetings, virtual learnings. We have specialty programs. One that's coming up is the HR Power Series. So watch out for that. And the HR Power Series in this example usually touches on strategic topics or provocative topics in the HR space. So always, think about attending one of those. We do those regionally. I think the next one we're going to do will be in March in the Western region, which is PIHRA West Los Angeles, Long Beach, and South Bay. So the Hawthorne, South Bay, Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach area. Members get a discounted rate to attend all of our professional development. So some of you had questions about HR certification. I'd love for you to unmute if you have any questions that I can help you with. Today we put we have the PHR, the SPHR, PHR California, and the SHRM CP, SCP prep classes on the calendar. But let me pause for a second to see if anyone has specific questions about HR certification. No specific questions? Well, I will tell you, I think getting my SHRM SCP was one of the best things that I've done lately for myself. It was really about me building credibility in my own mind, and it gave me a lot of confidence. But I think we have one of the best SHRM certification instructors in the United States. Richard Dawson has been involved with SHRM for a while and was part of the committee that SHRM invited to give feedback on the exam. I tend to prefer the SHRM certification. I still have the books that I studied. I keep them as reference material. The online learning system was fantastic. But you know, the HRCI, PHR and SPHR and PHR California are extremely valuable. And there's research out there that you can increase your salary by up to $20,000 with one of the senior certifications. So, I mean, I can't talk enough about it. I am not a great test taker. So I spent a lot of time studying. I calculated that I spent over 150 hours reading and studying both by myself and with study groups. So it's something that I always encourage everyone to do. So if this is a sign for you to do your HR certification, consider it a sign. Some of you, it might not be for you, but I know Rafael has several certifications. Rafael, you want to add anything here about certification?
Yeah, my takeaway for certification is like when you get certified, you don't want to lose it because you don't want to retest.
Right.
And I sat in one of our cert prep courses and I've taken the exams. I am both for I have to recertify this year. As you can imagine, I already have consumed over a 3-year period more than enough hours, but I've failed to log them in. So it's just gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be everything that I took last fall and this, spring that I can remember. That's what I'll be doing. So it's part of you demonstrating to your supervisor internally your capability and expertise. And I would highly recommend everyone considering a certification that best suits their current career aspirations.
Hi, Anthony. Do you have a
Hi.
question or comment?
Do you have a simple resource that just kind of breaks down these 4 different certifications, like what they're for? Is there like something out there on the website that kind of, hey, like focus here if you have this job, that kind of thing?
So I don't have a one pager, but uh, at PIHRA.org HR certification, I don't know if this Certified 24 may lead you there too, but at the end of that page, they're kind of outdated, but we have a SHRM expert and an HRCI expert talking to you about the value of the HR certification. If you go to, and we'll send you this in an email, if you go to the SHRM certification site or the HR certification site,
Mhm.
those sites will tell you there's kind of a list of questions and it'll point you to the certification that they think is best for you.
Mhm.
Um, for me, this is my opinion. I think that the senior certifications are the most valuable. If you're interested in really going to the HR director and above level or wanting to work in the HR strategy space, so organizational design, organizational behavior, so those for me seem to be the most valuable. The second one that I think is extremely valuable is the PHR California. And I
Mhm.
feel that I usually recommend that is because that shows employers that you have mastery over California law, which you probably know is one of the most stringent laws in the United States. So if you know California law and federal law, that kind of covers you. So those are the two. But what we'll do, Anthony, is there's going to be links. You do have to kind of click around, but it's gave me an idea. Maybe that's something that we can prepare for you.
Thank
But
you.
it's very unique. Everyone's a little different and eligible for different certifications. Great.
Thank
All
you.
right. Sure. Okay. Got a little bit of time left. We talked about California Employment Law update in Riverside that's coming up next week. Me and Raphael will be there. It's a streamlined version of our larger event, which happens in October. But we think that you'll get the key things that you need to know about with respect to being in compliance in 2024. And then it's always great to make connections with employment attorneys because you never know when you're going to need one, and you want one on your speed dial there. So there's that. Raphael started off talking about the California Human Resource, California HR conference. We're going to be in Anaheim. I'm really excited about this. We're going to be at the Hilton Anaheim. And it's going to look and feel a little different because we're in a hotel sort of environment, but we're going to be doing all the high impact networking and the fantastic learning in the 11 learning tracks that we usually host. So I hope you and your team can make that. And then, as promised, we're almost done here, but here is a list of events that are coming up. You see that we have a significant amount of webinars. Burbank Glendale is having an in-person meeting. There's a couple that I want to, West LA, I won't be at this one, but they're talking about, wellness and well-being. There's two that I wanted to highlight. Maybe Raphael wants to highlight some others, but this webinar on January 31st, Solve Your Biggest Workplace Issues with a 4-Day Work Week with Jeff Harry. I love Jeff Harry. Jeff Harry is out of the Bay Area. It might not be your style. He's definitely a millennial and going to be presenting on the 4-day week concept from that perspective. Raphael, have you heard of Jeff before? Have you?
I have not, but I want to buy in on that 4-day work week. I like if I can get us there, it's like, all right, work less time for the same money, then I'm in. We won't do a pilot probably in 2024, but maybe 2025 we can get there.
Yeah, Raphael's always been a advocate for flexible schedules, and that's why it's kind of hard to leave PIHRA, by the way. If you have a small child, you want to be there for their water polo games or baseball games, or you got to go talk to the counselor. So, but that's going to be a really good one. I think you all will enjoy Jeff Harry. He may or may not be at the conference this year. The other one I want to highlight is February 8th. It's a PIHRA webinar, How to Do DEI Differently with Stacy Gordon. And I spelled her name wrong. It's with the E. Well, one, I've known Stacy for a long time. We went to the same master's program. Two, just went to Europe this last year with her. But three, she's an accomplished author. She wrote, I think the book was called Unbiased. And she does DEI differently, and she talks about it a little differently. And she's also, I think soon we're going to be launching a DEI certificate of completion program that she's developed. She has uh, her DEI program on LinkedIn is one of the top rated or most viewed DEI workshops through LinkedIn. So I think that you'll really enjoy that. But please, 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 Nick, I know you've gone to a couple. Marissa, I don't know if you've gone to any PIHRA meetings. Give PIHRA an opportunity. I'd love for you to become a member, but at least make a goal for yourself to attend a couple PIHRA meetings this year. Like I said earlier, you do not want to do HR by yourself. You want to build a community around you because it can get lonely sometimes for HR, depending on the organization you're with. And you don't want to wait until you're so miserable and you need another job or there's a big layoff that you didn't anticipate to start building that network. This is where you're going to find people who may have that great next opportunity for you. So if you don't join PIHRA, join another community. What me and Raphael have talked about this before, we want you to be a part of a community. The pandemic, if anything else, helped us understand that you can't do things by yourself. If you stay isolated too long, things don't get better isolating. You definitely want to surround yourself with people. So challenge yourself, go to a PIHRA event this quarter, even just if it's a webinar. They're free for members. So I hope that you attend. And Anthony, did you want to add something here?
I just had a question about the conference. The
Okay.
previous slide. You guys said that if somebody volunteers to help out at the conference, they actually get a free attendance or partial attendance. Did I hear that correctly?
You did.
Okay.
So Anthony, email me, say subject line, I would like to volunteer at the California HR conference. It is an application process. We get
Okay.
hundreds of people to apply. I think this year we'll probably have between 80 and 90 spots. We're still firming
Wow.
that up. So how it works is you would volunteer one day, and this is how it usually works. You volunteer one day, and then you get to attend as an attendee the next day, and do all the activities as everybody else. And we also record all of the sessions, so you will get the on-demand recording as well of all
Oh,
the
perfect.
sessions as part of recompense for
Right.
volunteering in that day.
What are some of the things that volunteers do? Like how they
It could
contribute?
be, I think one of the more challenging, and Raphael, please chime in. One of the more challenging things would be to be a learning session moderator. So, and it's not really that challenging, really, but you'll be there to make sure that the speaker has everything they need, that everyone's seated and has a seat. If there's any issues with audio visual, you'll interact with the person. And there might be some other things. You could be a greeter, you could be at the registration desk, you can work with me, working with the volunteers, you could be at the speaker's lounge. So a lot of different
I
things going
gotcha.
on.
Cool.
Raphael, did you want to add anything there?
No, you covered it very well. I mean, we have many things that are possible to help us with our conference, and I'm sure we're gonna always find a good fit for everyone.
Fantastic. We'd love to have you, Anthony. So just send me a note so that I can make sure you're on the distribution list when that application goes out. And stay connected. I can't say that enough. Follow us on LinkedIn. Join some of our groups. We have 18, 19, 20 PIHRA related groups. We're on Facebook, not as much as we are on Instagram. We have this great new marketing specialist who's all over Instagram. We do a little bit on X, not even Twitter anymore. I should change that. It's X. Not a lot there. And then also I talked about the PIHRA Connect online platform that we have. So there's plenty of ways to stay connected. I hope that you do. Feel free to contact me via email or phone. Here's my information. I'd love to hear from you and make sure that you get the most out of your membership because there's so many things out there for you. So if there's any questions, I'll be here for another minute or so. If not, thank you so much for joining today's webinar. I really appreciate all of you and hope to connect with you all soon. Thank you. And thank you, Raphael, for being with us.
Well, glad to be here, and I'm glad that you're putting these on a monthly basis.
Thank you. Even though we had to make sure it was on your calendar for you to attend. Bye, everyone. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Let me know if you need anything. Me and Ali said are here for you. Take care and have a great rest of your Friday.
Too.